Hey everyone, Jessica Cabesi here. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to change the entire mood of this photo, make it a little bit more sunlit, add in some elements that are going to make this photo pop. So the first thing that I'm going to do is desaturate this image, and I'm going to go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then Hue Saturation. I'm going to go ahead and lower my saturation to about 17%. And I always just desaturate the base because I find that sometimes the photo, just adding adjustment layers with a desaturated base helps the colors look a little bit better rather than, all the colors being too saturated. So next thing I'm going to do is, pull up that curves layer. You guys already know. I just love curves, so I try to use them as much as possible. So this curves layer is going to really help set the mood. I'm lowering this point here, and as you can see, the backgrounds, everything's getting pretty dark, which is fine. That's exactly what I want. I'm actually going to be masking her out. So go on over to the brush tool over here, select any type of default round brush, and I'll show you guys my settings. 400 pixels, hardness is at 2%. Opacity here is key. You want to keep a low opacity. And select the actual layer mask. Make sure you're not selecting this. You want to click over so that this box is highlighted. And using the color black as your foreground, go ahead and just color over your model. And again, doesn't have to be perfect outline. Just something really feathered is fine. So now I'm going to just lower the opacity of this entire layer to about 79%. We just added a little bit of mood to the photo by this one curves layer. And let's go back and make another curves layer. And this one is I'm going to be adding a little bit more brightness and a tiny bit of color to this one. A lot of people ask me how I come up with curves. I mean, what can I say other than I'm inside all day just experimenting and playing around in Photoshop and seeing what I can come up with. So I just encourage everyone to just see what you like and go from there. Change up the points, use different tabs. For instance, going from RGB and we're going to go over to red. Just see what colors you like. That's how you learn to use Photoshop at its best. And I'm going to try to get this as accurately as I had for the original image, because I do have an original image I'm trying to stick to right now. So I think that's looking okay. That's looking pretty good. Of course, I couldn't tell because I don't have it up, but this looks pretty accurate. I do want to just, again, change the RGB, and this is where, again, playing with the points is going to help you. If you don't like something, you can just go ahead and tweak it, pull up a point if you don't like it. I don't know why that reminded me of diapers or pull-ups. Pulling up, never mind. That was corny. Keeping it real here. On the Jessica Cabesi channel, keeping it real. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then, let me show you guys what that did. Just add a little bit of tone. We're going to go on over to the selective color layer by going to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then Selective Color. And we are going to concentrate on the neutrals and the blacks. So for the blacks, you just want to add 5. And then neutrals, this is actually one of my favorite layers ever. I mean, the color neutral and the selective color tab, amazing. You can do so much with this. So as you can see, I'm just adding a little bit more depth to this picture. Look at me trying to be sophisticated with my words. Okay, so I think 91's looking pretty good for the opacity. And then let's go back to hue saturation. And what I want to do now is concentrate on this grass, because the grass is killing my vibe here, okay? Like, no grass is that bright unless it's fake. which that's cool. You can have your fake grass. Let's go from master to yellows because we want to make sure we're only affecting the grass with this layer. So go ahead and desaturate that. Okay, I'm being dramatic. At like 50, we're going to do 49. Just to annoy all the OCD people out there. And then we're going to go over to the greens. And we're going to do 100%. I got you guys. There we go. And then we're going to go to the cyan. Cyan, however, probably going to get someone correcting me, but that's cool. Went to art school for like 15 million years. Can't pronounce the colors. Okay, so I think this is looking pretty good. Wow, we just did so much. Okay, so we basically just affected the grass, which I love. Kind of changes the entire mood of the picture already. Let me turn the page of my notebook here. See how prepared I am for this. Okay, here we go. We're going to go back to the curves layer. Does everyone hate me yet? Because we're doing, half of this is going to be curves, basically. So we're going back to the curves layer. And we're doing RGB. And oh my god, if you guys saw how I drew this RGB layer on my notebook, you would make fun of me so much. Like, you know when you give up doing something? That's what it looks like here. So I'm going to try to get this as accurate as possible because this is chicken scratch right here. But that's cool. So RGB, I think this is what it's supposed to look like. I guess only time will tell. Okay, and then we're going to go over to the red. And the red, I remember I did a very slight little change. And what's nice about curves is you can make really slight changes, and it does make a huge difference. So, yeah, that's one thing that I like about curves. And then we're going over to the blue section. And oh my god, this one looks horrendous. I don't even know what I just drew. My line looks like a roller coaster. Okay, here we go. I think that looks pretty good. And again, we made subtle changes. You see how I only touch these lines very slightly with the points? I mean, you don't want to do too much, even though I'd have like 20 layers, but okay. And oh, we're going to lower this opacity to 62%. And then we're going to go back to the curves, another curves layer. You guys hate, okay, for sure you guys hate me now, but it's okay. This picture will turn out really cool, and then you'll be like, wow, I hate you less, Jessica, because you used all the curves for one picture. Okay, here we go. Because I want this to be a little bit more vintage vibe, so, you know, using separate curves layer is going to give you more control over the colors that you use. If you were to put all of this on one layer, it's just not going to work. So that's the trick to it. And this makes it a little bit more vintage, and I'm just lowering the opacity a little bit. And the next step is not curves. We cool? Okay, we're going to make a fill layer. So layer, new fill layer, and then gradients. Now this one is really going to transform the image, and I have it pre-made over here. It's an orange to transparent gradient. And I believe this is like a default gradient. You can easily make this if you don't have it. I'm going to go ahead and press OK, and we're changing the style from linear to radial. The angle is going to stay at 90, but the scale, we're going to bump that up to 289. We're going to get real dramatic right here. Okay. And just think of this as the sun, you know. If you're in Michigan like me, we don't get vitamin D, so we got to Photoshop the sun in. You know, we're not like California. So this is just one way I do that. So I'm just going to press OK. I'm going to go from normal to screen. And I'm going to lower the opacity to about 73%. Look at that. She's getting that vitamin D now. No one's going to stop her. She's going to be healthy now. She doesn't have to take the vitamins anymore, vitamin D. Okay. So I think this looks pretty good. And if you wanted to, you can mask her out a little, but I'm just going to keep this as is because this is how the look is. And okay, one more curves layer. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm trying to solidify everything here and kind of compress it together. And I'll show you what this curves layer is going to do. As you can see, it's kind of already shaping the light. It's making it look a little bit more natural, even though it's totally fake in Photoshop, but that's cool. And then I'm going to go to the blue layer. I don't even know why I drew these lines like this. They really look like a first grader drew these. Okay, here, we're getting somewhere. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. I always try to throw in a color in there. You know, if I'm doing RGB, sometimes I'll add another color, which pops out the picture a little bit. And the last step is layer, new adjustment layer, and then gradient map. And I already have my gradient here that I'm going to use. It's a dark red to lighter, I don't even know, auburn to like a nice beige, rosy beige. Copper. Oh, here we go. It's copper, you guys. No one make fun of me. It's late at night here. So we're going to switch this over to soft light. And we're going to lower the opacity to 52%. And that just adds a little bit of, you know, this copper sort of tone to the photo. And I really love it. As you can see, it just changes the mood of the picture. And this is actually the end of the tutorial. This is the final product. Let me show you guys a before and after. This is before. Oh my god, wow. That's after. That's pretty awesome. I'm not just saying that because it's my tutorial. Okay guys, that's pretty cool. You could add, if you wanted even more vibrant colors, go ahead. Get crazy. Bump up that vibrance, you know. You want to add another curves layer, you could do that. It's really up to you. Let me know what you guys think of this tutorial. I'm going to zoom in and just do one last before and after. Let me know what you guys want to see for future tutorials. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.